It's time for everybody's favorite live stream, the Custom Magic the Gathering card live stream. Let's see what crazy nonsense is created today. Let's see if this card's botched up. It's called the Botched Offering. For a black and a blue, it's an instant. Change the text of target spell, activated or triggered ability by replacing all instances of draw with discard. And then you have to exile the Botched Offering. Is it that evil? That evil, we have to exile this at the end of it. There's a lot of blue cards that switched and swapped around land types, colors. Like, well, if this thing said red, now it says green. If this thing says island, well, now it says forest. So this is not completely out of the range of possibilities. And we got black, all right? Instead of drawing, we're now discarding. So there's actually a little bit of it's a little flavorful. Yeah, it's Zyber's on color. The color pie was done correctly, and for that, I think that's an easy pass. I also don't think or is it? Hold on. I'm like, maybe this can just be so I get the idea is if someone goes to draw a card, they end up discarding a card. So this is instant speed. Make your opponent, it's counter spell for draw, and then make them discard a card. Maybe it's more evil than it looks. Like, way more evil than it looks. Especially if, turn one. Try to, or like, consider at end of turn. No, I'm going to botch offering that thing. You'll basically lose that card, and then you have to discard a card in addition to that. Does it work with gift a card mechanics? I mean, so long as the gifting draws a card, I don't see why not. Victory! At all costs! We must have victory around here. 7 mana sorcery. That's a hell of a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast the spell, pay the mana cost of each non-land permanent you win the game. So if you can wipe, that's interesting. That's definitely different. As additional cost, you have to pay the mana cost of each non-land permanent. What it basically says is if the board's empty, 7 mana and win the game, essentially. Oh, are we talking about the last card? This is not until end of turn. Oh, and then in that case, we have to change that. So it's not an emblem-like effect. Yeah, basically, but the problem is when you board. So when you know this card exists, you always have to make sure. Oh, come on, we can't just pass the turn with nothing in play. They could have victory at all costs. Anyway, it's a weird card. I get the sense. This is too cheap, as weird as that sounds. 7 mana to win the game. But even then, okay, so what else could be on the battlefield? A bunch of artifacts, a few creatures. Okay, one-on-one, this might be broken. It's so easy to just deplete your opponent of all their resources, and they have no choice but to pass the turn, and you're just like, all right, 7 mana, I win, right? Is that how this goes? 7 mana and victory. Not even Omniscience at 10 mana wins you the game. Wow! Technically. But practically speaking, yeah, you do win. But also, practically speaking, no one pays 10 mana for that thing. You cheat the Omniscience to cheat your way to win the game. It's a pyramid scheme of cheating. Compared to other win the game cards, this is quite expensive. But, like, it's... What else? You mean like, coalition victory or something? I don't even know what you compare this to. Toes, your super chat did not go through. If you need to know. If opponent skips, you're gonna end a few turns later though. Yeah. Do we have a bingo for a card for the stream? We do, but I don't know if we've hit any of these things. This is our bingo card today. It feels like the same bingo card as every week, but the squares have shifted and changed around. Approach of the Second Sun is also 7 mana. Yeah, it's 7 mana. Yeah, exactly. It's like Approach is 7 mana over several turns. Like you actually have to pay that 7 mana twice. All right, you got to pay 14 mana. So I think we have to say, I don't know what's wrong with this card, but there's something wrong with it. I want to say at a practical point of view, especially in one-on-one, like this is just busted. This is like the win condition. Oh, you have a 1-drop in play? Big deal. Okay, I'll pay the extra mana. Deal. Imagine there is a seismic assault on the other side. How you want to spend red, 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 white, white, white if this is not the mana value. Well, you have to wipe the board. So you're going to be playing with a lot of cards like, was it Farewell? Planar Cleansing? So you're going to be playing some literal board wipe, everything wipe. Wipe everything except the lands sort of board wipes. As does Control. They'll find a way. They'll never let any, they'll play, they can bounce it. They can, there's a lot, Leyline Binding. Oh no, wait a minute. Leyline Binding doesn't work. Oh, you have to pay the additional cost of the Leyline Binding as well. Maybe tricky. Maybe I'm not giving it enough credit for being balanced. But anyway, to be on the safe side, I win the game cards. You can't be too lenient on those cards. Vehenna, Funder of All. This is a 4-mana 1/4 human noble. Any player may activate activated abilities of permanents you control. If they do, then you may draw a card and create 2 treasure tokens. You want to play with my ability? Well, you're gonna have to pay up. If anything, they should be donating treasure tokens to you. So it's like you're buying. They're paying for their ability. They're paying for the use of your abilities. You always win when you back every prospect. Sure. That's interesting. Oh yeah, you can pay my ability to, like, I don't know, tap some creature down, but I'm going to draw cards and I'm going to get tokens out of this deal. Also a pretty good politics card, right? Please use my stuff so I get stronger. Also, wait a minute, could this go infinite? This could be a big Kingmaker card. Like, what if I have an ability that costs 0 mana? Like from Shuko, for example. Is it Shuko 0 mana? Yeah, Shuko is 0 mana. Then I get to draw. Oh, this could kill me. Oh, so I definitely don't want to do that, right? Okay, so I see. Oh, you like this card, Majra, do you? So I guess the deal is, so you can't build this card with a you may. Oh, then it's broken. I think we should actually force you to draw the card. I use your ability. You must draw to balance it out. You play any 0 mana abilities, then, well, you're drawing your deck. In response to your response, I will draw more. I will activate your 0 mana ability over and over and over again. Maybe the equip on is not going to work. It has to be on a creature, because if it's on an equipment, then it's like really slow. You can only activate it at sorcery speed. Should only be the draw if the opponent activated it. It is, right? Any player may activate. Oh, if they do. Oh, that's right. Oh, it's supremely. That's how I thought it read, Julian. That's how I was reading it. Like, why would I be able to activate my own ability and get treasure tokens and draw a card? And you know what? I honestly think the creator missed that. I don't think it was supposed to be any player, including yourself, around here. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, you could just keep tapping your treasures and drawing more cards and activating the abilities. So probably a little mistakey. It doesn't say non-mana, so you could just die on the spot, because opponent will tap your treasures to make you draw and make more treasures, and then if you don't draw, then you tap out. Nikachu, I can't read the bingo. You want to see the bingo card? What do we got here? Okay, do we have Zybers? Honestly, this was not a very Zybering card. We learned keyword explains the keyword. Custom ward cost? What is that? Anyway, this is the bingo card. Well, you can use it on yourself, then maybe a danger. Yeah, if you use anyway, you just use the card. It basically self-fulfills the thing. Just a reminder to everyone who is super chatting, the big series of super chats right now. We'll take a look at them after the sponsored segment of the show. Okay, we have Bart, Reparations Collector. It's a 2-mana 2/1 dwarf. Now, creatures you control have ward 1. Whenever an opponent pays a ward cost, create a treasure token. That's it. Whenever an opponent pays a ward cost, you get the treasure token. So that's a beating. Creatures, and it protects Bart too. I think This is like a slightly improved Unsettled Mariner. Now, Unsettled Mariner was basic. It was a 2-mana 2/2 changeling with creatures you control have Ward 1, but it just sucked. Ward 1 honestly is not that strong. Ward 1 is useless. Everyone can pay the 1. People don't always want to pay the 1, but you can do it. You've got that change in the bottom of your couch. If you dig deep enough, you can pay that tax. But the cool thing about this one is even if you do pay the 1, you actually ramp up your opponent at the same time. So this is a super cool card. Oh, who gets the priority to tap your treasures? Oh, I totally missed out on that last card. So you make treasure tokens, but any player may activate abilities of permanents you control, which means they can activate your treasure tokens. So the person who has priority immediately is the person who, whoever's turn it is, right? And then from there, priority is passed around. Oh yeah, this card's completely broken. And by broken, I mean not good. I mean like it's not going to function properly in an actual game of Magic. Oh, and begin. Oh, that's what we meant by the lands. Yeah. Okay. So like we could tap this person's lands at the same time. Oh my goodness. This is what a funny botch design we have over here. Yeah, the active players can only do it. Well, you can do it on any other turn so long as people pass priority to you, which is probably not going to happen. Okay, I like this card. The Bart, Reparations Collector. Okay, we got Sans Abundant. It's a 2-mana 2/2 Angel Cleric with flying. The first time you would draw a card each turn, choose non-land or land. Then reveal the top card of your library. If it's the chosen type, draw a card. Otherwise, draw 2 cards. What is this prophesizing nonsense here? 5 Sensei's Divining Top. This is going to be crazy. The first time you would draw a card each turn. Okay, like I used my top. There's a land on top. So if it's the chosen card, I draw 2 cards. This is probably broken. Also, wait, was it choose land or non-land? We all know what the choice is. It's non-land. Like 66% of everybody's deck usually is non-land cards. In fact, people don't even like playing with land. Some people go down as far as 20 or 25% and then make up the gap with Mana Dorks and Mana Rocks and so on. Oh yeah, you could also do this. Look, Julian has broken the card. Just only play with modal face cards. So you don't even need a deck with the actual lands in it. Just play with 2-sided cards where there's a spell on the front and there's a land on the back. You can't lose. You can't lose. So anyway, way too strong. This is like +1 on draw step in whatever situation. Yeah, basically. What is with today? Like a lot of these cards are just not balanced. I'll tell you what, people are in the holiday spirit. They're feeling ambitious. They want to make something sweet and new. Okay, we have now Spell of the Ultimate Protection. It's a white instant. You get a shield counter. Is that it? We get a shield counter. I'm not sure. So what's the deal? We're not allowed to have a shield counter because it's silver border. I think that's fine. And I imagine if you would be dealt damage or destroyed from Modern Horizons 13 cards, I suppose, you lose the shield counter instead. All they have to do is peck us for 1, right? Then we lose our shield counter. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Look, I got actual coffee today. It's been a while. Brian Freed, yes, destroy the player. One day. I think we have that already, actually. It protects you from AI cards, though. Probably. For 1 turn. Only if you're destroyed. You can still lose the game, even with the shield counter. Anti-AI tech. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of AI cards that destroy the player, don't they? Alright, I like it. Next up, we got 00110001110 and so on. Panopticon of Kaladesh. It's not named what is it? It was just renamed. It's gone from Kaladesh to something I don't remember. It hasn't stuck yet. The place formerly known as Kaladesh. Artifact land. Each player plays with the top card of their library revealed. Tapped out of colorless. Also pay 1, tap, surveil 1. Each player is the top. That is cool! It's probably broken, though, in a Lantern control deck. Because each player gets to see... Avishkar! It's the Panopticon of Avishkar. Wonder how they're going to work that into the story. You ever called Avishkar now? That works really well with the other card where you need to call non-land. Oh, Benjamin, are you like 5 minutes behind the stream? Why is Kaladesh Avishkar? There, let's just say in a dialect in India, saying Kaladesh sounds very rude. Let's just put it that way. But you can look up the article. There's a much more thorough explanation for it. Surveil, yeah, well, it's not exactly surveil 1 every turn for 1 mana. It's 2 mana, right? You have to tap the land, which is a cost, and also you have to pay 1, which is a cost. So it's taking up 2 of your mana slots per turn. And if you're doing it every turn, that's like you're basically taxing yourself for 2 mana. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I like to tap out every turn. In fact, I'm playing Standard recently, and I am tapping out for like 7 turns in a row. I would never have the time to play this card, but late game, this card's golden. I also would think that this card is very golden in a control deck. So when there's a moment where the opponent stops playing stuff, you start like surveilling one at a time over and over again. Not only that, you actually have access to more information because your opponent is revealing the top card of their library, which probably, I don't know who this favors, because each player gets to see the top of their deck. Now, for a control deck, maybe it's more valuable to know what your opponent is up to. Like, what does it matter if you have a counter spell on top of your deck and you draw it? Like, of course, we're always going to assume you've got the counter spell. You know what I mean? It's a non-indestructible artifact land too. Oh, it's an artifact land. Is this getting like too strong? I have no idea. Because even the affinity deck, like every affinity deck can play this. This is gonna go in like every Tron deck. It is strong. Okay, don't get me wrong. This is a very powerful card. I'm gonna give it a pat. It seems very cool to play with. I would, if you told me, does this card have a chance for getting banned? I would say there is a chance because it has so much utility. Yeah, it's definitely good for a Lantern. Mr. Bingo Space back here. Vehenna is in danger. Oh, was it? The free spell. Oh no, we need it in red. All right, we got. Oh yeah, that last card. Wait, was it in danger? What was that? The last card, Vehenna? That was not at danger. That was like it doesn't help you. It screws over the opponent. It's like a weird card. Or I don't know. I guess under some circumstances it can hit danger. Urza Saga exists. You can't get this card actually with Urza Saga. Believe it or not. I'll tell you why, because Urza Saga can only get cards that cost 1 or 0 mana, and this thing doesn't have a mana cost. Okay, moving on. Seasoned Archmage. This is for 4 mana. It's a 3/3 human wizard with vigilance. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, up to 1 target creature gets -2/-0 until your next turn. Then tap, draw 3 cards. Then discard cards equal to this creature's power. So at least 3. Okay, so that's funny. So it has vigilance. So the idea is to attack the opponent, deal damage, shrink yourself, so that you can then tap it to draw 3 cards, and then I guess discard 1? This has to be fair, right? This is just like Arcanus of Omnipotence with extra steps. And it's not as good. Well, I mean, maybe it's still fine if you like the card draw. You actually want to discard the cards. Some people might actually just want to draw 3, discard 3. No mana cost equals 0. Okay, let me land as 0 CMC. That is correct, but okay, we haven't moved on. Apparently, some people would like to learn about the rules today. And you know what? Nikachu knows the rules. I most definitely would love to teach you something. Urza's Saga. Urza's Saga specifically says, search your library for an artifact card with mana cost. Mana cost 0 or 1. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. That is different from mana value, or what formerly known as converted mana cost. Those are not the same thing. So it cannot find it cannot find this artifact. It cannot find it because it does not have a mana cost. It has a mana value, but it doesn't have a mana cost. And Urza Sagas only look for cards with mana costs. If you're looking, I have a feeling there's a lot of people out there in Commander cheating with Urza Saga. I would not doubt it for a second. But now you know better. You cannot find artifact lands with Urza Saga. That is a no-no. I play tournaments, all right? I know these things. Urza Saga sees a lot of play. Okay, Season Archmage. I like it. It's a cool card. It has my seal of approval. Oh, it absolutely counts for the rules. Yeah, let's. I laid the slap down on chat. Where's keyword explains the keyword? Where's the rules? Intuitive mechanic, not discussing the rules. The rules have been discussed. And I hope everyone learns something. The difference between mana cost and mana value. $100 million in nickels, though, for 12 mana. Legendary sorcery. Target player creates 2 billion tap treasure tokens. Well, I thought we're getting 100 billion. Sorry, 100 million. Then 100 million in nickels deals 1 damage to that player for each treasure token they control. I don't get it. So like it has the lore has to have something to do with this picture, but I don't. It's because you can just sack all your tokens. So you get 2 bill. Oh no, they came into play tapped. So this is just 12 mana win. This is just 12 mana win the game. $100 million is 2 billion nickels. Oh, you're right. Actually, you know what? You're not wrong. Yeah, I think you're right. 100 billion times. No, yeah. I think you're right. You have to multiply it by what's it called? 20, because you can put the 5 nickels equal $1. That's how much it costs. I could have been the person at the cash register, probably, maybe in another lifetime. Unless you have unless you have the shield. That's right, Hastat. We need that shield on us to protect us from the 100 million in nickels. Platinum Empyrean and then this. Or what else do we need? We need Amulet of Vigor in play, so that our tapped treasure tokens come into play untapped. Or I guess they won't trigger yet. They could just come into play tapped and then you die. You know what? Like, even if I get don't I just die? No, how does this work? Target player creates 2 billion tap treasure tokens, and then deals 1 damage to that player for each treasure token. Do I even have time to respond to this? I want to say I don't. Like, by the time that I get the tokens, I'm dead. I'm just dead. This thing is basically how a genie would screw you over, give you a ton of money, but in nickels, and make you fall on your head, or just be buried in them. And here, Andrew Daniels only wants 500 million pennies. Only. What is 500 million pennies? Was that just $1 million, $5 million? $5 million. Cast this, targeting yourself, plus any when you would take damage instead, card protect yourself. I don't know. If you have something that prevents your life from changing, yes. Yeah, anyway, It's just for flavor that you get it. It's just 12 mana, you win the game. Now 12 mana is a lot of mana. Is it fair? Do we have any 1-card win conditions in the game? Like any? I want to say that there are no 1-card win conditions. I mean, there are some cards that are like, I play this and then basically I win the game. Sam is here. Oh, hey, I'm in time for another edition of Take My Money and Rate My Anime Cards. You're absolutely right. This is the second most popular show on this channel. Phage kind. No, that's not Phage. Definitely not. Okay, I'm just hesitant to let 1-card win conditions be legal, even at 12 mana. There's definitely a big mana ramp deck that like can get to 12 mana easily, and that should be like 100 million nickels. One shot ya. Okay, next up. We've got Eshonai. This is Intrepid Cartographer. This is a 3-mana 2/3 Crab Scout. Now, whenever a creature you control explores for the first time each turn, create a map token. But we just explored. So we explore and we can explore again. And then parlay, pay 2, tap, each player reveals, then draws the top card of their library. For each non-land card revealed this way, you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Each player reveals, then draws. For each non-land card. Oh, I see. So that seems unfair. Okay, I show you something that I can actually cast. Therefore, I can, like, ramp? Maybe it's fine. Emrakul exit 1-card win condition, door to nothingness. If you have enough mana, sure. Also, against the tokens, you can just play explosives on 0. To play around it. I'm gonna play explosives on 0 to play around 100 million in nickels. Yeah, what a meta game. I have nothing against this card for the most part. Even parlay actually costs quite a bit. Yeah, there we go. Pre-con vibes. That's how real this card feels. It actually sort of... the only weird part is when you explore, you get a map token. But it only triggers the first time, so you can't be, like, triggering into triggering into triggering. Okay, moving on. We got the strength of thousands. Literally, it says thousands. I see 3 people in the background. This is a 5-mana... enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+1 for each other creature you control. Oh yeah, sure. Okay, what I thought for some reason these were soccer balls because the stance on these people are like they're playing soccer. I don't know if anyone else is getting the same vibes. But then you have someone over here clearly playing a drum. Anyway, that's what I thought. Is this like a drum you play with your feet or something? I'm not familiar with this instrument. I could totally see it happening. Engineered explosives / powder keg, ratchet bomb are options to beat the 100 million whatever. The 100 million nickels. I guess that's going to be the that might be the what's it called, the might be our thumbnail. Okay, we got Daniel with the insight. Those are osmium balls. They have the strength of thousands to move them. So those people in the background, they're pretty strong. Perhaps the strength of Oh, I get it. You made a joke. I think people need to refresh the stream. People are they're like an easy 10-15 minutes behind. Okay, the rhythm of life itself beats within each creature, big or small, whether they realize it or not. And you know what? I think there's a lot of creature-based decks are going to love this card. Very good for the tokens. Oh, wait a minute. I see it. This is good for... I get it. Some people are saying, like, this is exponential growth with tokens. You're right, giant dino boy. 100%. I thought you were talking about the last tokens. Cost too much? It's 5 mana. Like, what do you want in this game? What do you play, vintage? You want everything to be free? Zero? It was 0 mana too expensive for you sometimes? Needs to be white, 1 green. I think this is insane at 5. I don't know. It's Coat of Arms mana, and Coat of Arms sees play. It's been reprinted a million times. People are not complaining about Coat of Arms mana. Honestly, the first thing you're going to be doing, probably the last thing that you play, is your Strength of Thousands. You're going to like spend all your other turns playing your tokens. And that by the time you want to play Strength of Thousands, you're going to have mana left over because you have nothing to spend on it anyway. So with that, I think this card is very cool. All right, we're going to look at more. We're going to rate more custom Magic the Gathering cards. But we got to thank our sponsors today, FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite place to buy my Magic the Gathering cards and sealed product and get deck boxes and sleeves. Magic the Gathering Foundations is out. Start your foundation in Magic the Gathering or Standard by buying Magic the Gathering Foundations and possibly from FusionGamingOnline.com. And don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu. Do you know why? Because it supports the channel. You love the channel. You love the content. Maybe you want to buy something with Nikachu and get 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. On Magic Online, you can play all paper formats digitally. We're talking Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, Pauper, Commander, one-on-one Commander. Yes, you can find a play group online, and you can do so with You can rent all cards with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 40% cash back on your 3rd month subscription when you use coupon code Nikachu_X1A. And back to the insanity that is the custom Magic Gathering cards. We'll look at one more freebie here. Nerd Mizzet, Defender of Facts. You know, it's Dragon Smart Butt. Okay, Arm. Actually, when a player casts a spell, they have to explain what it does. If the explanation is wrong, counter that spell. This is supposed to be like a silver border for sure. 100% silver border. Actually, this is not a real Magic card in any way, shape, or form. Unless you go back to like Unset version 1, where all this sort of janky stuff existed. So, actually, no. It's pi divided by e. Pi. All right, we got super chats, people. We got Winter Fox is back from vacation, that is, and away from the drastic currency change problem in different locations. Here's a donation of 5 cards. Since I don't, you have nothing new right now. Okay, I'll tell you what, Winter Fox, we're gonna keep that one in mind for the end of the show. So we're gonna have 5 donations from Winter Fox because I might accidentally snipe people who donated. You know what I mean? Okay, so we'll go straight to 4 Paths of Life, Paradox World. Is that 9? I think this is Paradox World Part 9. So we'll take a look at 3 of these cards, and we'll check out the last 2 later. We got a Dense Fog Bank ? Didn't we do something like this, or did you improve it? Are you resubmitting it? So Dense Fog Bank, 5 mana. It's Paradox Sorcery. Destroy all creatures of the creature type of your choice that don't have Changeling. So, because if you name Cat, well, you're gonna blow up all the Changelings. Oh no, the poor Finally, something that doesn't give Changeling splash damage. After resolving Dense Fog Bank, place it transformed on the battlefield tapped. And it transforms into the Paradox Fog Bank. Tap for a green and a white. Pay 2, sacrifice it. Destroy all non-Paradox artifacts and enchantments, except auras and equipments. Gain 1 life for each permanent destroyed this way. Okay, so we're basically spending 5 mana to get a land that we can sack and destroy everything? Is that fair? You blow things up twice. And the second time you blow things up, it's actually cheaper. Because you don't actually need to you don't even need to tap the Paradox Fog Bank. You can actually tap it for mana and then pay another mana somewhere else and pay 2. I think Changelings deserves it. The first side is like easy pass. Second side sort of at danger. I think it's too strong. Destroy a creature of the creature type of your choice. So you basically get to destroy stuff twice. Destroy all non-paradox artifacts and enchantments. Except auras and equipments. Oh no, it only hits the artifacts and enchantments. Okay, I guess this is okay. This is fine. Nothing wrong here. I approve. I thought it destroyed creatures twice. It does not. Shared Blood we have for 6 mana. It's a legendary enchantment. Tap target creature you control gains a trample, flying, haste, vigilance, or first strike counter. All other creatures with the same name gain that same counter. Okay, so more token support. A lot of support for tokens today. People love tokens. Now, each paradox creature... Oh, sorry. Whenever a creature is dealt the damage, its controller may distribute that damage among creatures they control that share a creature type with that creature. Really? And this applies to both you and the opponent. So, what is this? Banding for creature types? Basically, each paradox creature gains the ability of all other shapeshifters and creatures with changeling. Each paradox creature gains the abilities of all other shapeshifters and creatures with changeling. I guess, yeah, this. It's just a weird banding card. And you can give creatures flying hastes, and it's an enchantment. You know, it's got creature vibes. Like the whole card feels like a creature, but it's not. It's an enchantment. Okay, interesting. For the changing players, kind of a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Maybe it is. A lot of people on the show very inspired by Yu-Gi-Oh. They love the TV series. I think, maybe, probably. Okay, next up we got Majra with the Wandering Presbytery. And it's updated. Okay, I got the updated one. With a very handsome fellow here. What is this, Oko? It's literally Oko, Thief of Crowns. We got Brother Lex. Is it slightly different? Is this the one I spoiled? Or maybe it's been around for forever. Maybe I get to see it. Okay, we have a red, black, 1 generic. Human Cleric. It's a 2/2 creature. It's got Undying. So when it dies, it's going to come back. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell from their hand, exile it with X time counters on it, instead of putting it into a graveyard as it resolves, where X is that spell's mana value. Now, at the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter from it. When the last time counter is removed, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. When you cast a spell you don't own, Brother Lex deals 1 damage to any target. Opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell. So on. Does this basically say the opponent can't place at the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter from it? When the last time counter is removed, you may cast it. Does this card basically say the opponent can't cast instants and sorceries? Is that what it is? I actually think it's broken. I mean, it basically says the opponent can't play instants and sorceries. Well, I mean, they can, but they don't do anything. From their hand, exile it with X time counters. So when they cast it, it's not when it resolves. And then you get it, right? At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter. Whenever you cast a spell you don't own, exile it as a result. No, whenever opponent casts, and no, it's just it just gets exiled immediately. You exile it as it resolves. Whenever opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell from their hand. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you do have it. Exile it with X time counters instead of putting it into a graveyard as it resolves. Is there something Nikachu can't read? Where's Nikachu cannot read the damn cards? No, I missed that one. That was on me, chat. All right, that was on me. Yeah, exile instead of going into the graveyard. You couldn't spell it out you couldn't spell it out clearer for me. Now, is it too strong? So it dies. What if it dies? Oh, then it gets undying and it comes back. Do you still get it? Is it too late to catch the freebie? No, it's way too early to catch the freebie. You gotta wait, Anna. You're gonna wait for your freebie. Gotta be here at the 3-hour mark. So I guess I have only a rules question. If you cast a spell and you kill this thing, and it's dead, does the spell go to the graveyard? That's the only question I would have. And if the answer is yes, the card is fair. If the answer is no, I don't know about it. And Brian's like, 3 hours? We're going to make you go to 6 hours. The suspend stop? Okay. Then I'm going to give it a pass. Okay, we're going to move on to the Brother Ven. Also for 4 mana, a 2/2 human cleric. Now, whenever a cleric deals combat damage to a player, time travel? I don't even know what that is. Whenever you time travel, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. At the beginning of your combat phase, if an opponent has no cards in their graveyard, clerics you control gain protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. I love these, like, there's no cards in your graveyard, you get some bonus card. Rate mine are on TikTok. Too far. They have to be in my Discord. I got instructions. There's instructions in the description below to be part of the show. Very clear instructions. Time travel is an actual mechanic. Oh yeah, I know you guys play with actual mechanics here and there sometimes. Once in a while. But I don't know what it does. It's probably from Doctor Who. It has a very Doctor Who feel and vibes to it, if you ask me. So I'm going to explain this damn time travel. Time travel is when you either add or remove time counters from... Oh, yeah! Because the idea is there was a lot of suspend cards, and so you can get off the suspend faster. We're like moving through time. Okay, cool card. Suspending and there's got to be a mechanic for, like, when the opponent has no cards in their graveyard. The Inspiring Priest, 3 mana for a 2/2. When Inspiring Priest enters, exile a number of cards in a graveyard up to the number of clerics you control. Now, creatures you control get +1/+1 for each opponent with an empty graveyard. So, so it's like, it reminds me of the railroads in Monopoly. If you have all the railroads, you collect that much more rent. Except this is the opposite. If your opponent has no railroad, and what I mean by that is they have no graveyard, then you get all the benefit off of this card. Oh man, Wizards, you have to steal this no graveyard mechanic. Steal it fast. The Rest in Peace will skyrocket in value. Okay, we're gonna look at some more cards from other people, but I'll definitely get back to check out the rest of your series. Next up, I guess we got Brian Farit. The Alexandra Chronicles. The Alexandra Chronicles. For reference, this is the woman who made the contingency from last week. I have no idea what that means. The contingency? Okay, this is a 6 mana 4/4 Vampire Assassin coming out for our blood. Death Touch, First Strike, and Lifelink. Now for 2 mana, Alexandra Threads of Silver phases out. And then also permanents you control and spells you cast can affect permanents as though they didn't have hexproof, shroud, or... It should just... There's a better way of wording this. It's like, well, to be honest, I don't know the better way of wording this. And I can't even give you the card that references this sort of thing, but I get it. You can target hexproof, shroud, or protection creatures with protection. Whenever Alexandra Threads of Silver deals damage to a creature, that creature loses indestructible until end of turn. This is like the opposite. We have this card. It's like you can't destroy this or something like that. Where is it? You can't get rid of this card because people very often make custom cards with, my creature's indestructible. It's got hexproof. It has protection from everything. It's got 10 shield counters on it. This one's the opposite direction. It's like, okay, you lose everything. You no longer have protection from squat. You're getting downsized to my level. Yeah, this is a clear Winterfox counter. This is Alexandra Threads of Silver. Definitely is going to be in the sideboard versus the Winterfox deck. Which also, honestly, isn't even that dangerous of an archetype. Because all the cards are like 20 mana. So anyway, this is an easy pass. Honestly, it's not that dangerous. Really not that. I want to say it's probably fair at 6 mana, but maybe it can even go down to 5. Okay, here we go. We got Alexandra's Gambit. This is a 3-mana sorcery. Name a card that isn't a basic land. Your opponents search their library, hand, and graveyard. They reveal all copies of that card and exile them. For each card exiled this way, you gain 2 life. We're naming a card that isn't a basic land. Your opponent searches their library, hand, and graveyard. They reveal all copies and exile them. Your opponents can fail to find. It should be name a card. You search your opponent's library, hand, and graveyard. Reveal all copies. Your opponents are allowed to fail to find big time. Oh, is that's the reference here? The Botez Gambit? I love that. I don't think anyone, any chess players out there catch that reference? Alexandra Botez. This count as the waifu card? Oh, yeah, that's a waifu card. This is a waifu card for sure. Oops. I see waifu here. But let's talk about the actual card itself. It doesn't work. Your opponents can, hold on, it's like they reveal all, they don't even have to reveal their hand. They literally can tell you, it's not in my deck. That's it. When you go up against 3 rat decks. But even then, based on the rules, like let's say you said Relentless Rats. Your opponent with Relentless Rats in play could look through their deck and say, I couldn't find any. And then that's it. So what you have to do is you just have to word it. Name a card that isn't a basic land. You search all opponents' library, hand, and graveyard. Something to that effect. And remove all copies of that card. And exile them. And then for each card exiled this way, you gain 2 life. But that's the only way you got to do it. Like, you have to do it yourself. If you let your opponents do it, they could be like, I don't have them. So with that in mind, this card, I mean, it's technically legal, but I don't think it does what you want it to do is the problem. And then your third card, the Castle Anchorage, a legendary land, enters the battlefield tapped. Tapped, add a white or a black. And then for a black and white, tap, scry 1, draw a card. If the card is Alexandra, Threads of Silver, reveal it. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. This is a little broken. This is literally 3 mana. Dig a card deep and draw a card. This is, this last one that surveilled. Where is the surveil card? Where's the surveil card? This card is pretty strong. The fact that we don't actually draw the card is what makes it even like slightly remotely balanced. This one is not. This is broken. You could just have scry 1, not draw a card. And on top of that, if the top card is Alexandra, Threads of Silver, then you just put it directly in play. Like, you get to miracle her. We can say that I improved a card. I supported the card. Nikachu improving card. So this third ability too strong. Way too strong. Even without the Alexandra Threads of Silver, like miracling it in play. Another way you can do. You could have like pay 2 mana, tap, scry 1. You could probably even keep this Alexandra Threads of Silver concept. Like if the card on the top is if the top card that's being scried, you could say scry 1. Then you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's Alexandra Threads of Silver, you can reveal it and put it onto the battlefield. If Alexandra's Gambit did what was intended, what would you think? It's a fine card. There's actually a lot of cards like that. There's a card called Slaughter Games. There's a lot of cards that do that thing, actually. But it's only to one player. I've never seen a card do this to all players, which I think is totally fair. Nothing wrong with that at all. Super fair. There's a lot of cards that operate like this. Lobotomy, for example. and so on. Anyway, thank you very much for sharing your cards. I appreciate it, Brian. Okay, next up. Who do we have here? Let's get some cards from the Dam draws. We got the Silverback Swordmaster and the Symbol Monkey. Is the Symbol Monkey like a toy? Okay, we have 4 mana for a 4/3 with Flash. You're not going to see that monkey coming. It's an Ape Warrior with Savage 2. Savage creature gets +2/+2 during combat phases and must attack and block if able. So it's just effectively a 6/5 for 4 mana. I like it. And I think, is this a real mechanic? Because it's very creative. I mean, I think they should bring this back. So in combat, it's a beating, but outside of combat, like you can bolt this thing. So it's actually quite weak. I was thinking like, let's make it a 4/4, but it has Flash, so maybe it doesn't deserve to be a 4/4. It's like dealing quite a bit of damage by itself. What else to say about this card? It's not monkeying around. Give it trample, just add a Rancor to that thing, and boom. Okay, let's take a look at the Symbol Monkey. Aren't these like toys or something? This picture looks like something out of Five Nights at Freddy's. 3 mana for a 1/4 monkey equipment. Oh, I'm gonna equip the Symbol Monkey to another creature. Equipped creature gains High Alert and Vigilance. Creatures on High Alert can target any permanent, regardless of triggered, activated, or keyword abilities. You can also reconfigure. How do you use this? What's the point of this card? So equipped creature gains... Okay, creatures on High Alert can target any permanent regardless of triggered, activated, or keyword abilities. Oh, so... Creatures on High Alert can target... Are you what does it mean? Like, so you can hit hexproof creatures and Shroud. Well, here's the... I don't know if it ignores Ward. Because you can always target something with Ward. Right? Like, it's not like it's illegal to target something with Ward. It's just that we have to pay the cost afterwards. So I think you can still target something with Ward. And I think the Ward still triggers. But the thing is, you can target, I'm assuming, hexproof creatures. You can target the Shroud creatures. That's from Toy Story, isn't it? It could be from Aladdin. Remember, I think Abu got turned into a toy monkey with the symbols. Could be from Aladdin. Who knows? Now that I'm looking closely, it looks like they're in an Among Us spaceship or something. Is there you can't stop this card bingo space? You can't stop. I don't think so. It is this Toy Story monkey, yeah. All right. The mystery has been solved. Toy Story 3. Yeah, also very, very sus. Sus monkey on a ship. First, what is this monkey doing on a ship? Second, why is it dressed in clothes? And third, how does it know how to play a musical instrument? Okay. Reconfigure away. Nice cards. Thank you very much to Dam Draws. Let's take a look at One Frame James, the Annoying Man. I'm looking forward to this, whatever the hell this is. The Annoying Man, a blue 1/2 human. Okay, whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may shuffle your library unless that player pays 1. Oh, it's just being annoying because you're forced to shuffle over and over and over again. You may shuffle your library. It could... Oh, it's not if you may. So if you know that you've put something on the bottom of your deck that you want back on top of your... Or like potentially shuffled back into your deck, that's good. If you've put garbage on top of your deck through a brainstorm, you might want the shuffle effect. That's good. And your opponents are always casting spells. This actually might be okay. Like, I don't think it's completely useless. If you're doing a lot of card manipulation with Brainstorm and then you need a shuffle effect later. Like, this is basically a free shuffle effect. How are people not going to be playing spells? Of course they're going to play spells. And it says, he's not on a ship. I'm pretty sure he's in the security room of a kindergarten. Why is there a security room of a kindergarten? You think this card is really good? Is it like, can this card get broken somehow? If you have a card that reveals the top card, then you can just shuffle until you hit what you want. No, there's the way shuffling. Okay, I see what you mean. So you, but then they also. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, you're actually right. So if you have Lantern of Insight out, which means that everyone's got to play with the top card of their library revealed. Yeah, if you have garbage and your opponent plays a spell, you will for sure take the time to shuffle. But it's at that point people can actually manipulate versus you. And I'll tell you why. Because if you reveal a land on top of your deck, you might screw yourself. Then they'll always pay the one. They'll be like, okay, every single time they pay the one, you don't get to draw anything good for the rest of the game. So actually, you need to know what the top card of your deck is, but no one else does. That's very, very important. $99 land commander deck. Nothing but lands. What else to say about this card? It's it will waste a lot of time. That's what I'll also say about this thing. You're just shuffling all day, all night. A lot of you people, you don't even like to shuffle. You take no pleasure in shuffling for some reason. Nothing at all. Okay, next up, let's take a look at Nova, the Space Wolf. Back here, our resident non-magic player making... What is this intellectual property called? Okay, let's look at Puff Cap. Okay, we start off with Puff Cap. Any relation to Puff Wheat? Puff Wheat? Is a token. Okay, let's look at a card and then I'll go back if it makes sense. Okay, we got Teemo. Blue. So it's for an Izzet. It's a 1/1. Piltover and Zon Bandle Yordle. That is definitely a bingo thing. 5 words a name. No, 5 words. 5+ words in card type. Not only that, what do we have? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. That's a first. It's got elusive. Can only be blocked by other creatures with elusive. When Teemo deals damage to an opponent, that opponent creates 5 token artifacts called Puff Cap. Okay, that's and then when opponents have created 15 or more Puff Caps, transform your Teemo. Okay, now here's where we look at Puff Cap. If you control 1 or more Puff Caps, flip a coin. When you draw a card, if you lose the flip, reveal the drawn card and sacrifice Puff Cap equal to the card's mana value. Huh? And sacrifice Puff Caps? Oh, Puff Caps, I see. If you can't sacrifice all the Puff Caps, you control instead. If you can't sacrifice all Puff Caps, okay, you just sack them all. Whenever a Puff Cap you control dies, lose 1 life. Ooh! That's gonna drain. It's gonna badly drain us here. Elusive is a Lorcana mechanic? That's funny. Basically stole Shadow from Magic the Gathering. Puff Caps die upon injury? What, in the lore or in reality? Create 5 Puff Caps. And if the opponent created 15 or more Puff Caps, you get to transform our Teemo. Okay, we move on. We're going to transform into Teemo, the Swift Scout. It's a 2/2, still with elusive. When Teemo, the Swift Scout, deals damage to an opponent, that opponent doubles the Puff Caps they control. So how do we get rid of these things? It's if you control 1 or more, flip a coin whenever you draw a card. Okay, we flip a coin every single time we draw a card. If you lose the flip, reveal the card drawn and sacrifice Puff Caps equal to the card's mana value. I feel like you're just gonna like sack all your Puff Caps. Pretty comfortably. Whenever you draw 1 or more control 1 or more Puff Caps, flip a coin. Whenever you draw a card, if you lose the flip, reveal that many. I'm not quite following how this works. If you can't... If you control one or more... Oh, I see. If you flip one... We're flipping the coin just once. And then that's it. And we're making 5 puff caps overall. I used to play with a team with a Temu mid. That was just sadistic back in beta. All right, cool. Yeah, I got a toilet duck. I got it. 5 words in name if you add up both faces of the card. Does that count? I don't think that counts. No, that doesn't work. The card is good. The card is neat. I hope the puff cap mechanic isn't broken. Because you have to sack the puff caps. I can't get rid of these things easily. Because whenever they get... It's like whenever a puff cap you control dies... Oh, it has to die. If it doesn't die... Is die best or sacrifice? It has no... Oh, wait a minute. You can't... Something that doesn't have power toughness can't die. I think whenever a puff cap you control is sacrificed, you lose 1 life. That makes more sense. They do 1 damage to you per mana value you draw up to a maximum of the mana value. It is inconsistent, just like Legends of Runeterra. Yeah, sacrifice or destroy. Should be sacrifice. This is an inanimate object. How does it die? It's impossible. It's impossible. Okay, we'll take a look at your other cards later. We're going to pass it around to... Let's give a card to Epic Nate. Nate loves being epic. Portal of the Eldrazi. Portal of the Eldrazi. Oh my goodness. It looks like a spaceship. But I guess it's a portal. 7 mana for a legendary Eldrazi artifact. Cascade. Yeah, so let's add a very broken creature type. Attach it to a broken mechanic. When you cast your first colorless permanent spell each turn, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land colorless permanent with mana value equal to or less than that spell. You may put the revealed cards on the battlefield. If it's a creature, it gains haste until end of turn. What the hell? And the thing is, this happens whenever you cast your first colorless permanent spell. It can be anything. Top your library until you reveal a non-colorless permanent mana. So basically, it just says your colorless cards have Cascade. You may put the revealed cards onto the battlefield. Would it not make, or does it not make sense to say Cascade, colorless cards you have Cascade? Like that just sounds cleaner, doesn't it? And then you could say creature spells you control have haste. This is just a really weird paragraph. That's all I'm saying. It's a little clunky. Cascade, but better. I think it's easy enough to say colorless spells have Cascade. It doesn't cast it. Cascade does. Whenever you cast your first colorless permanent spell. I don't get it. Isn't that just Cascade on all colorless permanents? That's the way I'm reading it, Brian. That's right. It says put. Okay. When you cast your first colorless spell each turn, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land colorless permanent with mana value or less equal to that spell. You may put the revealed cards onto the battlefield. Oh, all revealed cards. What the hell? What, all of them? Oh, I guess this is broken. Even at 7 mana. Yeah, you may put the revealed card. Sorry. You may put the revealed card onto the battlefield. Oh, the Cascade is cast. Okay, it doesn't cast it. You should have worded it. It's not being cast. It's just put onto the battlefield. I get it. Now I understand what you're trying. Now I understand this thing. Yeah, it's only the 1 card. For 7 mana, 7 mana is like not even that much mana in this game anymore. You know, I remember when 7 mana, that was an eternity. You might be dead before you get 7 mana in play. These days, 7 mana can be achieved by turn 3, sometimes turn 2. Reading the card explains the card. Sometimes. Reading the card carefully explains the card. Cast your first permanent spell each turn, reveal cards. And we're already casting another card. Reveal cards on top of your library and to reveal a non-land colorless permanent with mana value equal to or less than the spell. What's funny is we can put bigger things in play, right? This has to be broken. It just has to be. I just can't see how this card's fair. So you get 3 cards when you put this in play? No, it sounds like you get even more. You reveal a non... Oh, sorry. It only says you put the revealed card onto the battlefield. No. It's not 3 cards. So first off, this is just an artifact that gets... Oh, I guess you do get 3 cards. Portal of Eldrazi, the card it cascades into, and then what's it called? Then you play another random spell and you cascade into something else. So I guess you could say it's 3. All right. Okay, I'll give it a pass. It's only that 1 card. Hopefully it is not stupidly insane. Now next up we've got let's get back to the bigger super chats, starting with 4 Paths of Life. The Paradox World. Part 9, is it? We looked at that one. Let's take a look at your last 2. Okay, we got Prom, The Living World. I thought this... Oh, well, what part of living is this? It's got no power and toughness. I thought it was like a planet creature. Modern Horizons 50. Planets attack each other. Planets are sentient. During each end step, all non-shapeshifter creatures become shapeshifters instead of their current creature types. Also, they gain Changeling. Doesn't this screw you over? Because then it doesn't get killed by this. Destroy all creatures of the creature type of your choice that don't have Changeling. Wow, this is like anti-dense fog bank tech. To protect versus dense fog bank. Players may mutate on human creatures. Tap, add 1 mana of any color, and pay 2. Tap, sacrifice shapeshifters whose total mana value is X. Search your library for a sentient amalgam creature card with mana value X. Place it onto the battlefield. Tap. Now I bet we're gonna find out exactly what this amalgam is right here, and that is the liquidation unto Miship Prom. Is this it? No. Search your library for a sentient amalgam creature. Is this the sentient amalgam? I guess it's gonna be like a creature type we're gonna see somewhere in the future. The liquidation unto Miship Prom, a 0 mana sorcery. Cast the spell only if there are 20 or more shapeshifters and or creatures with Changeling on the battlefield. Okay. So not that easy, even at 0 mana. The spell can't be copied or countered. The spell's abilities can't be gained or lost, copied, countered. You said copied already. We don't need to hear it twice. I think and countered. The spell's abilities. This thing has abilities? What other abilities does it have? Oh, anyway, the point is you win the game. All you need is 20 shapeshifters or creatures in play. Now, honestly, this is probably one of the more fair win the game cards. Getting 20 shapeshifters in play, that sounds like a tough task. Or is it? I guess you could get 20 tokens in play. Then there's this enchantment that's like you can turn every creature into a certain creature type. Other PW parts had the sentient amalgam creatures already. Ah, okay. So the fans of your series have to go back and go check it out. Yeah, it's a lot of work. You know what? My back hurts just thinking about this, and that is why I think it is totally fair. Man, I guess there are some Changeling players are out there like, I had 30 creatures in play, but I didn't know how to break through and win the game. Well, maybe if not every single creature was a changeling, they could actually make a difference. Okay, next up, we've got that's it. That's all we got here. Okay, moving on, we'll go to the Majra series, the Wandering Presbytery. Right? The Wandering. Check out the last two cards here. Starting with Path to the Wandering Presbytery. This is for 3 mana enchantment with flash. Target creature you control gains Undying and Enlist until end of turn. If the target was a cleric, gains lifelink. 3 mana, sacrifice Path to the Wandering Presbytery. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with the highest mana value, then you draw a card. So basically, it's a 6 mana removal spell that cantrips off of itself. That's fair. It's an enchantment. So in theory, you could get it back from the graveyard with, like, what, Heliod's, Heliod something. 5 words in the bingo. Oh! 5 words in name. Ooh, we are very close to a bingo! And remember, when we get bingos on the show, that means we're going to donate a card for somebody there. That's Hogwarts? I don't think so. You know what it looks like? It looks like Renew... was it Rideau Canal? What is it in Canada? Rideau Canal? What the hell is that called? Where is my parliament? Rideau Canal? Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's called Rideau Canal. I didn't even know. Here, let me get a picture for you all. You want to see the Rideau Canal? Maybe I can find the picture that aligns for this picture. Or maybe it's not so easy. Okay, I found something. There we go. This is what I see. See, we got the water. We got the big castle. There's the parliament. That's where laws are made in my country. It makes you think of the Canadian Parliament. Yes, see? Look, it's like a castle. And they got castles on this side. And they got a river. And what do we see over here? We got a castle. We got a castle. We got the river. But anyway, so it's giving me Rideau Canal vibes. Rideau Canal, fake Canadian Nikachu. I'm real. Yeah. Anyway, that in my opinion. Anyway, very, very fair card. I hope it's fair. It's a 6 mana removal spell. It better be fair. The door to the Wandering Presbytery. We're going to be knocking on it. So for 10 mana, also has flash. Oh, but it has affinity for cleric, so it might actually only be 3. When Door of the Presbytery enters, and at the end of a turn it enters, wander into the Presbytery. And then whenever a player attacks with 2 or more creatures each turn, exile Door of the Wandering Presbytery, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end phase. But so when it enters, and at the end of a turn, wander into the Presbytery. I can't remember, what was the Presbytery? Was it like a dungeon, if I remember correctly? Might have been so long ago. I don't know. Or maybe we're still gonna find out. It was a dungeon? All right. Thank you for reminding me. I'm looking at the previous cards. I'm not seeing it. Okay, is it fair? Well, okay, the thing about the dungeon cards is they're pretty broken if you can, like, get them online by turn 2. This one's not going to get online for a very long time. I mean, not 10 mana because it has affinity for clerics, but we're looking at more like, let's say you get 4 clerics in play, so 6 mana. I think that is totally fine. It's a dungeon. The dungeon. Cool set, Majra. Very nice. Don't make dungeons too broken, because then that's what happened with initiative. Okay, let's go get Christopher over here. Christopher Olesen. with the Jizdon, Lord of Gears. What is with that name? You named your card Jizdon. That is... And why is it Lord of Gears? This has to be a troll. This is like this has to be a super troll name. Yeah. Get Jizdon. Hold the fort. At least it's not Jizdong. No, I think this is even worse. Because someone's going to get jizzed on. That's illegal. You're going to go to jail. Okay, we got 10 mana, or it's actually 5 mana and 10 of your life for 2/6 Elder God Phyrexian. Flying Vigilance, Lifelink, and Ward 3. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Jizdon, Lord of Gears. When Jizdon, Lord of Gears, leaves the battlefield, create a number of 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature tokens equal to its power, which is not very big at the moment. Oh, but it does get bigger, I guess, earlier. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 1. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 1. If the player doesn't... Oh, you get a 1/1 servo for 10 life. Flying Vigilance, Lifelink, and Ward. It's probably too strong. Like, it's probably really easy to just pay the 10 life, get it in play. It's not exactly going to make the value back, but at Ward 3 is tough. Like, that's pretty high. So the bar to kill this thing is very low. Not even Lightning Bolt kills it. You need, like, Unholy Heat here. This is the custom card of all time. What else do we have here? Yeah, do we have Yu-Gi-Oh here? Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh. Too much text. Like, these have just too many abilities here. What is it? 4 paragraphs of abilities? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, four paragraphs. Yeah, you need a Wrath card. I guess a Wrath would make me sad. I paid 10 life and I didn't get anything out of this. They'll change it to Rizdon. Riz and Jizz are 2 different things. Riz is short for charisma, but Jizz, I don't know what that's short for. Rather be jizzed off than Oh my goodness. I wonder, was that on purpose? Like, this is literally has nothing to do with anything else. I thought this was going to be more of a troll of a card ever else, but it's not. Is this just like a really weird coincidence that someone named their card Jizdon? Jizdon! They heard this term called jizz somewhere on the internet. Sounded cool. I named thy Jizdon, the Lord of Gears. Yeah, once again, family-friendly show. Well, it's not that bad. You know, I'm not swearing in front of the camera. I can accept this. What's with the tentacles growing off in the back? Okay, is this card fair? I want to say no. I think it's doing too many things. When it leaves the battlefield, create a 1/1. We get 1/1s every single time somebody basically takes a turn, and it's so hard to kill this. I mean, it's not impossible to kill this thing, but it's not great either. And if it gets bigger than the life gain that you spend, I'll tell you what, if you got rid of the Phyrexian mana, then it'd be fine. So if you just make this a solid like 5 plus Wooburg, yeah, you got it. But like at just 5 mana and 5 Phyrexian, probably not. Probably typed it out and didn't read it out loud. Maybe. It looked good in their head. This is why Nikachu gets trolled shouldn't even be the free bingo space. Instead, Nikachu doesn't get trolled should be the bingo space. Please search It's This One on Discord. What's that all about? It's this one? Oh, you're looking at... Oh, you want to see the... Oh, yeah, okay, here's your presbytery dungeon. The Angel's Wrath. Exile a card from an opponent's graveyard. Each opponent loses 1 life for each card exiled this way. The Golden Dawn. Draw 2 cards, you gain 7 life. Oh, God. And then you can repeat the thing all over again. All right, moving on. We now have Nova the Space Wolf's extra cards. Let's take a look at those. Let's get back to Puff Cap. But we're going to look at the Thresh. What are we looking at here? Thresh the Torturer. Someone going to get tortured around here. 5 mana for a 3/6 Wraith with Challenger. What is a Wraith, by the way? Does anyone know? Is that like just a ghoul or something? I want to say it's like, or is it like, is like the Nazgul? That's how ghoul they are. Challenger. Whenever this creature attacks, you may have target creature defending player controls untap it and block it, even if unable to do so normally. I hate that wording. It's just put it like defending player, have target creature defending player's controls untap and block it. I think it's just cleaner words. This whole like even if unable to do so normally doesn't feel like a real Magic card. Next, while Thresh the Torturer is on the battlefield, whenever a non-token creature dies, put 1 soul counter on Thresh the Torturer. Soul counters cannot be proliferated or copied in any way. When Thresh the Torturer has 6 soul counters on it, we gotta transform it into Thresh the Chain Warden. This is a 4/7, another 4/7 Wraith with Challenger again. Now, the first time Thresh the Chain Warden attacks, search your library for a legendary creature with a different name, then put that onto the battlefield. You just put it on the battlefield tapped and attacking, then shuffle. Yeah. Oh wow, that's crazy. But only when it attacks. Okay, so the backside, I think it's fine. How do I... Did I lose control of my keyboard? No, I still got it. How do I change this thing back? No, I can't, apparently. Okay. Just do this. Should be fine. Challenger, my brother in Christ. We have Provoke. No, but Provoke, the point of Challenger is we are untapping creatures. I believe Provoke only provokes creatures that are already untapped. Anything that poops out free creatures is danger. It is true, but you still have to flip this card. So, while it's on the battlefield, whenever a non-token creature dies, put a soul counter on it. Whenever Thresh has 6 or more soul count, like 6 things need to die first. And like, I mean, honestly, I think it's a lot of work to get this thing going. You can challenge creatures, but that's not until next turn. This creature doesn't have haste. I think the card's cool, actually. Even more interesting is if you would say, if creatures die, if a creature died this way through Thresh, put a counter on it, so that you're like forced to provoke creatures in order to get the second side here. Oh, Provoke also untaps? Oh, I am sadly corrected. So that is... This Challenger mechanic is redundant. Not that Wizards has made this exact or very similar mechanics before and then just gave it a different name. Am I right, fellas? The point of Challenger is that in the rules, Provoke specifically states that a non-flyer can't provoke a flyer or something like that. Oh, interesting. Is that a non-flyer can't provoke a flyer? That is weird. Okay, sounds good. I mean, a flyer could always block non-flyers, though, if I understand correctly. You've got my blessing with this card. Okay, next up, who hasn't got a card yet? I know. Magastera. Hey, Nikachu, been doing a set of enchantments, but can't seem to translate the concept into a card. Only one I managed is this, of Substantive Collapse. Looks great. Okay, 4 mana, legendary enchantment. Collapse! The whole world has collapsed. Look, there's just dead bodies. We got a dead deer over here. We got another deer, maybe an elk. Everything's dead. Ooh, there's some sort of ominous dark figure in the background over there. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player creates a Dominion. Sorry, creates Dominion, a 0/1 colorless wall creature token with Defender, and each creature not named Dominion you control gets -1/-1. Invasive Collapse. If you control 4 or more collapses. Okay, 4 or more collapse. Each player creates 2 Dominion at the beginning of each player's upkeep instead. Interesting. Control 4 or more collapse. Each player creates 2 Dominion. Is this going to be like a big war of 1/1s, 0/1s? I mean, each creature not named Dominion you control gets -1/-1. So basically, it's going to kill everything off except for the walls. What is the end game for this type of card? Is there a new keyboard ability? The keyword for new ability? I think there's something like that, right? Custom. New intuitive mechanic. I guess that's the closest. Oh, is this even a mechanic? Oops. It's not a mechanic. If you control 4 or more collapses, each player creates 2 Dominion. I guess that's a mechanic. I mean, it's not hard. It's not hard to understand, anyhow. Get rid of Reduce Canal here. Oh, new non-creature type. We have another bingo here. New non-creature type. The collapses. Nikachu, you should do a show where we present you with cards and you have to guess if they are good in Commander or not. That's actually a really good idea for a show. But the problem is you guys have spit so many cards at me in Commander that I probably can guess which ones are good. The ones that see play are good. But you probably could trick me in a few of them, that's for sure. Collapse would be a new subtype. Invasive Collapse is just a flavor of the ability. Okay, anyway, is it broken? No. Is it fun to play against? Probably not. Because if enough of these creatures are in play, it just wipes everything out, right? That player creates a Dominion token, and each creature not named Dominion you control gets -1/-1. And it accumulates and accumulates, and you have a bunch of these damn walls that kill everything off. Nothing's allowed to live again. Okay, next up. Let's go to Little MX Doom. My only dono. Oh, you're donating. Whoops. Sounds beautiful. Who are you donating to? Koishi Impossible Friend. Is this your card? Oh no, it's your card. I thought you were donating to somebody else. We got like 4 mana for a 2/3 spirit. Philosophy of a Hated Person. Koishi Impossible Friend has hexproof as long as it is untapped. Okay. That didn't really need a mechanic. Like, that already exists, right? There's quite a few cards that are like, as long as this card is untapped, it has hexproof. Symbol Dem Maku Paranoia. At the beginning of your end step, Koishi phases out. Isn't that just... It's just phase out. We have given mechanics names for no reason here. Koishi should be Grixis, to be honest. Red for the unpredictability. Of course, Pedgeman will have something to say about the waifu cards. Yeah, it's flavor keywords, just like, you know, those commander, all the new commander sets that come out. You have that flavor keyword. And it's the only keyword in the game. The only one. You know, I was about to say this could qualify as the intuitive mechanic, but I don't think... oh, no, the intuitive mechanic... Yeah, this one... Is it a new... Is there an intuitive mechanic? New intuitive mechanic? Oh, we already did that one already. Damn. Keyword explains keyword? Sure. Actually, we could probably nail that one. Or maybe not. No, the keyword does not explain the keyword. Nikachu paranoia does not explain phasing out. I guess, I don't know what that means. For Ginka, what does that mean? Keyword explain. I'm assuming keyword is like it reveals exactly what it does. Majra has seconded it. Koishi should be red. Maybe 4-color, perhaps. D&D introducing of flavor text for abilities and its consequences. Yeah, exactly. We're keywording everything for no reason. I'm getting you, Kalia. Here's the thing, Kalia. You're blue. You're supposed to be green like everyone else. But I know that these pounds go a long way. So, but you're going to go last. Because this is a pay-to-win show. Pay to win. The biggest super chats come first. She's really hard to remove? Not really. Oh, wait a minute. Well, if she just sits there, then yes. But if you want to do anything with it, and there's nothing else that the card does, right? So when it's your turn, she's phased in, but she's not tapped, so she has hexproof. But then if you pass the turn, she phases out, but she didn't attack. She didn't do anything. It's actually a very funny... it's almost like a paradox, right? She could be targeted, but only on your turn. But then she phases out. When she phases out, she phases back in. She can't be targeted. Anyway, I think it's an interesting card. If she wants to make a move, she dies. Yeah, she has to attack to be open. Both her spell cards' names. Is this from another card game or something? Anyway, okay. It gets a pass. Next up, we got KenCon, actually, here. Welcome, KenCon. Actually made it before it ended. Yeah, we haven't hit the 3-hour mark yet. The card is Stop Dirtling. Stop Dirtling? Yep. Okay, we got a red instant. Split Second. If 4 or more spells were cast by other players this turn, end the turn. It's over. All right. Actually, this is more like, oh, you wanted that spell to resolve? Well, guess what? This acts like a counter spell. Exile all spells and abilities from the stack, including this card. The player whose turn it is discards down to their maximum hand size, and damage wears off. And this turn and end of turn effects end. So this is like the mind break trap. Is that what it is? The mind break trap of red? It should exist. There you go. Majra, huge fan of this card. Stop dirtling. If you're trying... Spell card, phase of a boss fight. Me losing my monopoly on Tohu cards? I have no idea what you're talking about. Stop people omniscience nonsense? Well, yeah, I guess so. Because this, you can't interact with counterspells with this card. Split Second. My spell resolves before any of your spells resolve. Protection from force of will. That's how Split Second works around here. It happened so fast and resolved you didn't have a chance to even target it on the stack. I'm surprised. Do Commander players still have a huge problem with Storm? Like, Storm is... I didn't think Storm is like such a big popular archetype in Commander. Fun thing to do, use this with, at the start of the end step, you lose the game cards to skip past that and not lose the game. I guess to flex. Dartaurus, welcome. Okay, cool. This is a great card. Brilliant. Okay, next up, we're going to take a look at another series of damn draws with the Book of Salvation. Also comes with a chessboard. Okay, 3 mana for a shackle. And remember, this is like a bad equipment. It's like a bad aura to put on someone else. Hexproof, shackled target player. Shackled player draws a card and discards a card during their end phases. If shackled player would move an instant or sorcery or permanent to the graveyard from another zone, exile it instead. And also unshackle for 4 mana. How is that a bad thing? Shackled player draws a card and discards a card during their end phase. If it made them discard a card at random, that would be bad. I don't know how this is bad. This is like a good thing. Oh, wait a minute. You wanted to shackle yourself. That's the idea. So it has hexproof. We shackle ourselves. We can draw and discard a card at our end step during the end phases. I think you have to word it at the beginning of your end step, not during there. There is no such. You don't like there. That doesn't make any sense. During the end phase, well, when at the end of your end phase or at the beginning of your end phase? I would assume at the beginning of your end step, draw and discard a card. And then if the player would move an instant or sorcery permanent to the graveyard, exile it. Oh, so you're not. It's funny you're not even giving yourself a chance to cheat with this card. Like try to reanimate some big creature. I guess it's just that whatever card you're discarding is getting exiled instead, but I'm okay with that to curate my hand. Absolutely. 100%. I mean, it's fine in a fair route. I honestly, I think it's fine even in an unfair route. Like, I think. You're probably soaking up one of your turns playing this thing. Free wheel? Draws a card and discards a card during their end phase. It's only one card! It's only one card, that's it. Nothing more than that. One card. To those who prey upon the dead, may their salvation be your shackle. Okay, as printed, super fair, definitely. Oh, it's definitely not useless. I mean, this has a lot of potential. I wonder, you can put lands in the graveyard, though. You could reanimate your lands. You could bring the lands back from the graveyard. What else? You could put enchantments in the graveyard and replenish them back. You can put artifacts in the graveyard and bring them back. So there's a lot of utility with this card. Love it. And there's a second card here. The Raj's Rice Board for 3 mana. It's also a shackle. To shackle a player. Shackled player creates 5 food tokens. Commutative upkeep, sacrifice a food token, or lose 3 life. Oh my god. It looks broken! What the hell? You can get this out on turn 2, and it costs 6 mana to unshackle. That's awful. Let's do the math here. What, they have like 3 turns of... No, even less than that. Commutative upkeep... Because you have to keep, where's Nikachu's calculator? Okay, Nikachu's busting out the calculator again. Let's make this calculator a little bit bigger. You have 5 foods. First commutative upkeep has to cost 1. We have 4 foods left. Second commutative upkeep is pay 2. We have 2 foods left, and then we're gonna feel the pain. Oh, hold on. Or do we... Commutative upkeep, sacrifice... Oh, no. We own the card. We have to sacrifice a food token or lose 3 life. What does this do? Hold on. Shackled player creates 5 food tokens. Oh, the idea is we give ourselves the food? Actually, you control the equipment, so yeah, you pay the commutative upkeep. So I guess the idea is we're giving ourselves 5 food tokens, which could be useful, by the way. You know, if we have some affinity mechanic to try to exploit, we're putting a bunch of artifacts on the battlefield. Depends on how shackle works. Does shackle mean it can't be sacrificed? No, it can be sacrificed. That is a weird mechanic. Actually, so for 3 mana, we can shackle ourselves. We get 5 food tokens, and then we could just choose not to pay the upkeep and lose the Raja's Rice Board. I don't think this card works as intended. Yeah, you don't have to pay the upkeep, so we just sack the permanent. It's just 3 mana, create 5 food. So I have a feeling this card was not... I don't know, maybe... Here's another question for us, chat. Coffee Crew, is 3 mana to get 5 food broken? I mean, maybe not. But there's literally no point to keep this on the board. Like, literally no point. Well, shackle is like, it's an equipment that comes into play already attached to somebody. That's what a shackle is. And then the idea is it's supposed to come with a downside. You have to unshackle yourself. Why is the rice on the Raja's rice board? Rice on a chessboard. Some Selesnya player is drooling. Maybe. Yeah, there's no point in keeping it. So I think the design of this card is just wrong. And probably, like, I don't know how you want it. I don't know. I honestly don't know what's the purpose of this. Is this to be given to somebody else and punish them? Or is this supposed to be given to you and you have some benefit, but you're never going to be forced to pay the cumulative upkeep? Otherwise, you're screwed. It could be, maybe you could reword it and say at the beginning of your upkeep, lose 1 life for each food you have in play. That'd be interesting. Right? This card's flavor is basically about a thought experiment where you put different numbers of rice grains on every square of a chessboard. No. Actually, I remember this. This is the idea. The idea is, would you take $10 or would you give me a dollar, or would you give me rice for but we double it for each square on a chessboard, and there's 64 squares on a chessboard, and then that just gets it gets exponential really quickly. Bringing back my Nikachu's calculator, we start with 1 times 2 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 times 2. I can't remember where we're getting here. Times 2, and it's like we're still not hitting like 64 squares. Like, and these numbers are getting huge at around like 20-ish. You know, we're at 1 million. We're at 2 million. And so look, all these grains of rice. We're going to bankrupt the world in rice, and we're still not at 64. There's still 64 squares to be had. Like, you owe me 268 million grains of rice. Just type 2 to the power of... Oh, can I write that there? Is that possible? 2... Oh, yeah, power of 64. Oh, maybe that didn't work. I don't know how to use Nikachu's calculator. Oh, 2... I feel like this is... Oh, no, this is 2 squared. The power of... Oh, no, this isn't a half. How do I write this here? Have to switch to scientific? Damn! I don't have a scientific calculator here. Okay, Nikachu's calculator is going to get retired for a second. Okay, this card doesn't work. Moving on. It's not a thought experiment. It's a scam, as the lore goes. The lore was a scam. Okay, Kalia, you've been so patient. Let's go check out your card. Killer. The Apo Cliff Fort Towers. What a weird name. The weirder the name, the harder it is to find these cards. Oh, this is a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I know the style. Okay, it's a lot of mana. It's 10 mana, which is not very flavorful for the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, because usually they are 0. And then we have, okay, as an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice up to 3 creatures. The spell costs 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. Protection from everything with a converted mana cost of 9 or less. If you need to be this tall in order to face me one-on-one. This tall. If not, I will crush you like a bug. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1. Tap. Your opponent sacrifices 1 permanent unless they discard 1 card. I have a feeling neither of those even matter at this stage of the game. That effect is so crappy. So you'd have to cheat this in play, I suppose, in order to really make use out of this ability. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice up to 3 creatures. Okay, how about I choose to do none? Spell costs 2 less to cast. Oh, because you're tributing! I tribute 3 of my creatures! No, monsters. To summon the magic card Killer! The Apocalypse Fort Towers. Yeah, we contribute. So we actually can get out for 4 mana. Oh, then it probably is broken, right? Just get, like... It doesn't even say how big the creatures have to be. It's just turn 1, make some mana. Turn 2, make 3 tokens. Turn 4, play this damn thing. Turn 3, hop it. Turn 4, this. Sure. It was, in fact, breaking Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, was it? It was a good card in Yu-Gi-Oh!, was it? In Yu-Gi-Oh!, this was kind of unsolvable in the day. It was the, the Uro of the time. Your opponent sacks 1 permanent unless they discard a card. Yeah, it's broken. That's all I have to say. It's broken as worded here. I think it's just too, like, let's see. Protection from everything with converted mana cost 9 or less. Okay, to be honest, maybe it's fine. And let me try to sell it to everybody. So step 1, it can be countered. That's one reason. Second, it can be hit with hand discard. Third, if you know you're up against a Towers deck, you can just keep killing off the tokens or creatures that are in play to make it hard to tribute this thing into play. What else can you do? It's probably weak to Blood Moon and a Harbinger of the Seas. What else? If it enters the battlefield, you could probably Edict it away. Yeah, board wipes still work and stuff like that. So maybe it's more fair than it looks. I mean, 3 creatures is a lot of creatures for Magic the Gathering, honestly. It's a lot of creatures. Yeah, we have Progenitus. It's basically... Well, Progenitus is infinitely hard to get in play, though. Yeah, it's probably more fragile than it looks. And probably sacking 3 creatures in play is harder than reanimating this card. It's probably a lot harder than reanimating this card. And also, it gets no ETB value, unlike something like Atraxa. So the deal is, even if you beat Atraxa, you can solve the Atraxa problem. You haven't solved them drawing like 4 to 5 extra cards, right? But with Killer of the Towers, you are definitely not getting any value off of this. So all the work you put into it, it's just all lost when they basically board wipe the board. All right, so for that, I think it actually is fine. In Magic, our cards are more powerful than in Yu-Gi-Oh! We have tools for this. Dartaurus, Duct Tape, and Endless Nameless. Duct Tape? What is that, an equipment or something? It is an artifact. Trinket Mechanic. 4 mana for a trinket. If you control 2 or more trinkets, choose one of them. Then shuffle the rest into your library. What? We can only have 1 trinket on the battlefield? Flash. Miracle for 2. You now with the miracle cards. Creatures you control have banding. Oh, we are sticking them together. I love the flavor. Flash, speed, banding. It's probably strong. It's probably a pretty good, like, a pretty good combat mechanic. Nikachu made half his income raising chickens. What the hell does that mean? Yeah, when do we get duct tape? Oh, sorry. It's duct tape. You guys can tell the difference between duct tape and duct tape. Phonetically, I can't tell the difference. Do we have an old game mechanic? Maybe. Are you asking in such a way so that it doesn't feel like it's a bingo alert? Old mechanic. Is there an old mechanic? Super chat. You can't get rid of this card. New creature type. Definitely flavor win. Custom ward cost. What the hell is custom ward cost? It's like ward, but a very unique cost, like sacrifice a blue enchantment or something. I don't know how we're ever like doing that. Maybe it's flex tape. No, it's duct tape. Flex tape got nothing on that. I can get duct tape from the dollar store for $1. Okay, we have Endless Nameless for either 5 mana or 3 blue. Trinkets. If you control 2 or more trinkets, yeah, then you have to choose one. I don't understand the flavor of that. Like, why can't we have tons of trinkets on the battlefield? I got tape and all sorts of crap on my desk. Flash Miracle for blue. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, roll a d4. Put that card back into your hand as it resolves. Cast an instant, roll a d4. If the result is... It has to be exactly 4. So 1 out of 6 times, you get to keep the card. I'm stuck in a loop, but you're not. Flash Miracle. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, roll a d4. Oh, no, sorry, it's not a D6, it's a D4. So it's like a 25% chance of getting your card back. It's probably this card's probably really bad. It's not reliable. Or did you balance it out in a quarter so that people can't break it with Krark's Thumb? Because then when you have Krark's Thumb, then the odds of you getting your spell back are like 1 in 2. It's already Krark's Thumb proof. Krark's Thumb proof. Nikachu, do you not understand farming chickens? Maybe you don't raise chickens. I don't. Boy, was I very far away from a farm. Oh, trinkets are a reference to the Binding of Isaac. Is that the lore of the Bible? Not familiar. I really want to use one of this as one of those rename cards for welding. I suppose so. Okay, well, this definitely passes. Honestly, as worded, it seems clunky. I mean, the miracle cost might make it, like, doable, but outside of that, like, 5 mana, or even 3 mana for this, it's rough. You could get a card that lets you roll more times. I guess that's the idea. Oh, Binding of Isaac is a video game series? Oh, it's when I hear some, like, biblical name like Isaac, I just assume it has something to do with the Bible. Okay, next up, let's take a look at Damn Draws with President Scroob! We all know who President Scroob is, don't we? 10,000 years of... Is this supposed to be 10,000 years of fresh air? Years of air. It'll be 10 days under Scroob... No, it'll be 10 days the way he runs things. 10,000 years of fresh air. Oh, did you just... You must have just posted this. I can't find it. Where is President Scroob? There it is. Oh, oh, sorry. It was, you literally called it. When you put this in quotations, I thought that was the card I have to look up, not actual President Scroob. Okay, what do we have for President Scroob? Why is it silver border? Could be a real card. Okay, it's a 1/2 Stooge Noble. President Scroob shouldn't be your commander. Oh, I get it. Okay, yeah. He'll Scroob things up. When President Scroob's controller taps a source of mana, they must pay 2. Oh, God. And then 4 mana, target opponent takes control of President Scroob. Only President Scroob's owner may activate this ability. So you give... When President Scroob's controller taps a source for mana, they must pay 2. Or how does that... How can you be forced? What if I pay the 4 for this and I can't pay the other 2? We got a bingo. We got another bingo alert. We got a new creature type. Stooge Noble. Where is this new creature? And also with that, we have what we call a bingo. Which means we'll give one more freebie. At the end of all these super chats. All right, we got at least one free bingo. Wow, this is a really empty space today. A lot of empty space. I don't know how this... Okay, but it doesn't need to work with the rules because, of course, this is a silver border card. Yeah, self-stacks. Well, it's not self-stacks. The idea is maybe we could give this to the stacks player. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be wonderful? We finally stacks the stacks player. Just specifically this one person at the table. You need to float 8 to cast it and immediately give it and give it immediately. Yeah, put that bingo in my veins. Just locks you out of the game. Well, you get more mana. You gotta get more mana. Just don't play your President Scroob don't play your President Scroob too early and Scroob yourself, if you know what I mean. Okay, next up, let's take a look at Corbinek. We got a Cocoa Nutty. Whatever that means. Yeah, what kind of super chat sound effect do I give you? Let's give you this one. Cocoa Nutty. Oh, it's been a while, Corbinek. I haven't seen your texted, or how do I put it? Your templated cards in a while. Why is this a blue card? Okay, blue, enchantment. All creatures lose their type and become coconuts. All tokens are food tokens instead of their normal types. All right, you, all creatures lose their type and become coconuts? All creatures lose their type and become coconuts. All tokens are food tokens instead of... So, hold on, they're not creatures anymore is what is what I'm getting at. They became food tokens. No, maybe they're not. You're not specifically saying that they are artifacts. Creatures lose their type. So they're coconut creatures that can be sacrificed. That's how I'm understanding this card. It's almost like a Yagra, right? It's like Yagra. Insane dress down. I guess so. Permanent dress down. But everything's a food. Oh, Canyon Lark mentioning, but to pay the mana, you have to tap more sources, causing you to pay more mana. Right? You know what? I actually think you're right. President Scroob, screw yourself, big time. Yeah, in order to pay the mana, when President Scroob taps a source for mana, they must pay 2. And then when you pay that 2, you have to pay an additional 4. You pay that 4, you got to pay an additional 8. Even with infinite mana, you'll never catch up. Me when I play Elish Norn as a coconut. Screw you, Phyrexia. Well, it's anti a lot of decks, really. Yeah, that was okay. I think it's okay. Oh, hopefully it's not too broken. If you're up against a deck with 1/1s, it's almost like a weird humility, but you still get the power and toughness of your creatures, and worst case scenario, you can sacrifice them for some life. We got Brian Freets with Savrin, Unbridled Temper. It ain't cheap. We get for 9 mana. We got an 8/8 Elf Barbarian. Menace, Trample, Vigilance. Now, in the combat step, you assign how combat damage is dealt. I want to say that happens now. Like they changed the rule, right? Oh, I see. In this one, no matter whose turn it is, you choose where the combat damage goes. Creatures you control cannot be goaded or otherwise forced to attack or block. 2 mana, regenerate, Savrin, Unbridled Temper. Creatures you control cannot be goaded or otherwise forced to attack or block. Interesting. But what if someone else plays a card that says, untap this creature and make it block even though it is not supposed to do so? What wins in this situation? I'm just trying to figure out like what would win in this scenario. The card that says you cannot make me block, or the card that says no, you must block even though you normally can't. Can't overrides must. Oh, well, thank you for letting me know, Trip Fontaine. Savrin because he's already there. Well, that doesn't mean anything. Sometimes timestamps matter, but I don't know if this is true. But if it overrides must, then it's good to know. Anyway, I think the card is fine. I think the card is interesting. Just trying to think. In the combat step, you assign how combat damage is dealt. Creatures you control cannot be... So when you're the attack... so I guess if you're attacking... Sorry, if you're blocking, you're super powerful. Because you can block with several creatures and make someone's one creature assign... It's banding. It's banding for one creature. On one... It's banding... It's basically the creature itself has banding for everything. All is banded. That's basically what this is. Can't always beats can. Well, especially with that attitude. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at Surefire Selves. Hagrid Fiend Merchant. More Grixis. Hagrid. This sounds like something from Harry Potter. 3 mana for 1/4 Elf Rogue. This is not the Hagrid I know. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, return all cards exiled with Hagrid, Fiend, Merchant to their owner's hands. Then exile any number of non-land permanent cards from your hand. Until end of turn, that player may play those cards, and mana of any type may be spent to cast them. Now, whenever an opponent casts a spell you own from exile, create X treasure tokens, where X is 1 plus that spell's mana value. We are going to cash in big time. So at the beginning of each player's upkeep, return all cards exiled with Hagrid, throw in his hands, then exile any number of non-land permanent cards from your hand. So they exile cards from your hand, they can play them. How do you get other cards? Beginning of each opponent. So the idea is just keep an empty hand, so this card does nothing. Until end of turn, that player may play those cards, and only until end of turn, and mana of any type can be spent to cast them. But if they do that, so if they play my card, I get a bunch of treasure tokens. Each opponent's upkeep, return all cards exiled with their owner's hands. Return all cards exiled, then exile any number of non-land permanent cards from your hand. Interesting. If you super chat Nikachu $500 20 times, he will come over for Christmas. I will not. That is not legally binding. I will give you a Zoom call on Christmas Day for 15 minutes. I will do that. Actually, what is this? $500? What is that? That's 10 grand. It's almost worth it for me to take it and then fly over to someone's place for Christmas. You get to refresh the wares for each person. So here's the deal. I can't wrap my head around how this card works. Like how it's actually going to be played in practice. So, okay, you've officially confused me. This is Grixis Group Hug. Do you guys get it? Okay, good. I understand this part. So if people play my spell, I get treasure tokens, which I guess is going to help me play other people's cards. I just don't... it's just worded in a weird way. At the beginning of each upkeep, return all cards exiled back to their hands. But I haven't exiled anything. Then exile any number of non-land permanents from your hand. Until end of turn, that player may play those cards and mana of any type. Okay, I see. So it gets exiled, but those exiled cards come back. And then they can choose to keep playing my spells. And I can play other people's spells as well. Opponents can buy your cards. Well, they don't spend anything. But somehow money keeps coming in the mail. You know what? Money keeps coming in the mail. I don't question it. I just keep pocketing and put it into my bank account. Okay, cool card. Grixis Group Hug, they say. Grixis, hey? Dartaurus! How about a bingo square to fill? Oh, you want to fill? You have a donation. Super chat just to complete the bingo. We're not even completing a bingo here. How about a bingo square fill? Okay, well, we got it. Okay, let's Anna, you around here? Anna, you around? I think I saw Anna. What's your card that you want to have? Okay, I'm gonna keep a lookout for you, Anna. You can have your card early because that was basically a donation. Okay, let's give another one to Corbinik with Despair Game. Yeah, it's been a while. I've been working a lot, just had a kid, so been busy. Oh my goodness. Congratulations, Corbinik. Your genes have multiplied. Your family tree can continue on for many generations to come. Despair Game for 2 mana, enchant game. Hope. If a player starts their turn with 6 creatures with different names, they gain a victory token. Once a player has 10 victory tokens, they win the game. Despair. If a player ends their turn with no creatures in play and has no cards in hand, other than all other players lose 5 life and can't gain life until the start of their next turns. So if basically if one person is screwed, everyone is screwed. But what if everyone decides to be screwed? If a player ends their turn with no creatures in play and no cards in hand, Okay, so even if you want to empty your hand, I mean, it might not be easy because you have to put the creature onto the battlefield. So if you draw a creature and you play it, then it's not that hard. Sorry, it's hard to activate the despair part, and that's what I like about this card. Also, I find the victory part sounds impossible. They start the turn with 6 creatures with different names, and you need 10 of those victory tokens. I mean, I guess there was a way to like... Oh, it was an actual card called Tick. Oh, you're right. What is this? What is this templating? This is super tiny words. No, you can't get rid of this card. Oh. Don't be too cute with those super chat names. I just assumed that you literally didn't want to get rid of your I thought you wanted me to tick off. It was just a coincidence. I thought you wanted me to tick this thing off on the bingo card because there's literally a bingo square for super chat to complete the bingo. Okay, we'll look at Darth Taurus's card. Okay, 3 mana. This thing is disgusting. I've never had a Tick before, and I don't want to. It's another trinket card. Now, Tick cannot be exiled, destroyed, or sacrificed, and has protection from everything unless you control a permanent named the Matchstick. This permanent can't be targeted, dealt damage, enchanted, or equipped by anything unless you control a permanent named the Matchstick. Creatures opponents control with base power 4 or greater get -0/-2. And also creatures you control have lifelink. This is an abomination. What is this? A text for ticks? That's hilarious. Okay, so what? We have to get rid of one of these. We get rid of this, and then we add... You can't get rid of this card. They can't get rid of these cards these days. Reminder text went weird. No, text for the whole damn thing went weird. It's crazy. It's a giant tick. So anyway, it intimidates me. Okay, Anna, I'll give you your card in advance. Apparently, I screwed up here. So we're gonna give you your card though anyway. Is this that Binding of Isaac card? A card based on the main antagonist, aka Isaac's mom from the video game? Okay, gotcha. Cool. 6 mana for a 6/6 human with Trample and Fear. When Magdalene O. Maria enters, another target creature becomes a white and black human creature token with power toughness 1/1 until end of turn. Oh, you could give this to your opponents. So you can turn your opponent's creatures into tiny little, little creatures. Tiny little creatures. Pay 3. Tap. Magdalene O deals 3 damage to target creature, and then you can blow it up. As far as I'm concerned. This is actually a complete... I mean, this might as well be a Magic the Gathering card. It literally looks like a Magic card. It's only until end of turn, right? Yeah, so you have Trample and Fear. So very difficult to block, but it's 6 mana. I'm like, you're paying what you're getting for. And then when it enters... Oh, it's only when it enters. It enters, another target creature becomes a white and black human creature token with power and toughness 1/1 until end of turn. I thought it was like every turn. When it enters or attacks or something. I bet it could be better. I think it could be more broken. When it enters the battlefield, it just shrinks 1 creature once. Doesn't seem strong enough. I think we can... I don't know. How about... Would it still be flavorful if it had that same ability when it attacks? Would that be fine? It needs to be fair. Is it a good guy? It's not a bad guy. What is this? Isaac's mom from the video game? Isaac's mom's a nice person, huh? Yeah, I also agree. I think it enters and attacks, it would still be fine. Or is it like, or is it a thing where it's only what's it called? Or is it a type of card flavorfully? It's only affects 1 card once and never again. Does it turn Isaac into a small creature? Anyway, thank you very much for the card. Do we have 2-hour stream? I don't think so. I think that was removed. Oh, we do have 2-hour stream. And it has been 2 hours. We are one away from another bingo. All right, let's get a Apparently a donation to Pedgeman. Yomu. Draining Blade. Yomu! Yomu Draining Blade. This is a 4-mana 2/4 Human Spirit Samurai with double strike. Bushido for energy. When this creature blocks becomes blocked, you can pay any amount of energy. It gets +1/+1 for each energy paid. What is this supposed to be, an energy payoff card? Pay triple energy, counter target spell or ability that targets Yomu. That's probably fair. When Yomu deals combat damage to a player, you get that much energy and they lose that much energy. If that player has less energy than that amount of damage, they also lose life equal to the difference. Let me reread that. If that player has less energy than that amount of damage... When it deals combat damage, you get energy. Oh, I see. So if I deal 3 damage and they have 2 energy, they lose the energy and then they lose life. Is this an anti-energy card here? Is that the idea? Oh, dono to Pedgeman. Look at that, Pedgeman. You literally have your own square on the bingo card. It was foretold. It was a prophecy that Pedgeman would get a card. If drains energy and they don't, they lose 1 life for each energy they're missing. Do they still take the normal damage? When Yomu deals damage to a player, you get that much energy. So are you dealing more damage? Like, for example, let's say if they have no energy, and I hit them for 2, then they lose another 2, so they lost for a total of 4. It's double strike, though. It's got Bushido. Yes, yes. This sounds very strong. Double strike. Double strike. So it attacks for 8. Does it say instead? No. They still take normal damage, so they have no energy. They lose double, so it gets big. It's an 8-power 4-mana creature. That's crazy. And on top of that, if you have energy, then you give it hexproof. I mean, there's like no trample, but it's not hard for you to give it trample. Also impossible to block because of the damn Bushido. That's Yomu. It just broken. Yomu's broken. Yeah, it's an energy payoff and a counter. Well, it only counters things that target Yomu, as far as we see it. I think if there was no double strike, it's probably fine. With the double strike, it's just dealing an obscene amount of damage. Especially easy to give trample and green. Yeah, for sure. Definitely, 100%. Surefire Selves. What do you got for us today? We got Alkes the Executioner. Where is it? Acles. Acles. Five mana for a 3/5 human knight with Death Touch. Whenever another creature dealt damage by Acles dies, put X +1/+1 counters on Acles. Where X is that creature's power. You may have Acles become a copy of that creature, except its name is Acles the Executioner. It's legendary in addition to its other types. It has Death Touch and it has this ability. Another creature dies, put X counters on Acles. So we stole the power and put it on here. And then we become a copy of that creature. It's legendary. It has Death Touch and it has this ability. He will save your head. It's one of those types of cards that's like, I want to absorb you as a creature. Whatever you had, all the good stuff, I'm going to absorb it. You shall be assimilated. Your likeness and biological uniqueness will serve as my own. Except I'm an executioner. I become you. It's because what? Because we take the face off? Like a Hannibal Lecter or something? Is this a reworking of Lazov? Maybe. Maybe I should have it instead of having damage plus drain. Yeah, it's too much. Having both is insane. Having one, I don't know if one would be broken though. having one of those abilities is fine. I become you! Well, if you want to become me, the best thing about me is that there's so many of me. That's probably fine. You have Death Touch. It's a pretty expensive card. You do something else has to die to blocking it. You absorb it. It's a pretty slow moving card. It's not like you can win the game immediately off this thing and you just have some fun absorbing whatever jump block. So you have to probably lure creatures into blocking, otherwise they'll just jump block it with crappy creatures, and it will get incrementally bigger, but you're not going to get any super great abilities because it's mostly like, who wants to put their best creature in front of a Death Toucher? You know what I mean? It's probably not going to happen. Therefore, it's a fair card. Okay, next up, we got Winter Fox with the huge super chat. Thanks so much for your giant super chat. Okay, who wants freebies? Anna got one of them. So this is worth 5, I guess. It's actually probably worth, what is Canadian dollar at here? This is Canadian dollars. I gotta find the exchange rate here. 28 CA in USD. It's probably 20. Yeah, it's 20 bucks. So we've gone through one super chat. Oh, so we have 3 more. Well, ideally someone who doesn't have a card. If nobody in chat has never had a card, then I could start giving to people who didn't get 2 cards. Well, it's sort of weird. You already got 2 cards in here today. Okay, we got Steve Cooper. Disrupting Wrench. Version 1. Okay, what's your words? Oh, I just realized posted in the wrong channel. Whoops. Disrupting Wrench. I don't know where this thing came from. 2-mana equipment. Equipped creature has unattached Disrupting Wrench from equipped creature. Counter target activated or triggered ability that isn't a mana ability. So it's a counterspell. Until end of turn, abilities countered by creatures that was equipped by Disrupting Wrench this turn can't be activated or triggered. So it's like a Tishana's Tidebinder. Equipped for 3 or blue activate only once per turn. So basically, you have to hit something twice. It's counter target activated or triggered ability that isn't a mana ability. Yeah, so it's 100% it's Stifle, right? It's Stifle. Is this from Dodgeball? If you can dodge a wrench, you can. Oh God, that sounds like terrible training. I don't want to train under situations like that. All right, time to dodge wrenches. And then the whole team comes out all beaten up and so on. Dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge. You be dodging. All right. Well, anyway, I think thing's okay. So equipped creature has unattached this thing. Shouldn't it be like 0? Pay 0, unattached, Disrupting Wrench. I don't know if that's the correct word. That'd be the correct wording. This might be fine as well. Basically, it says, okay, untap this thing and unattach it. You know what you could do to play around Disrupting Wrench as well is just kill the creature that's equipped to. You know, should serve you right for holding that wrench against me. And then you get to resolve your card. Okay, Daniel's got a card. Okay, I'll give one to Daniel and Banovsky. So let's look at Daniel's card, which is something with this cute image, but read it only if you agree it's cute. Looks like an AI generated card. 3 mana for a 1/2 elf employee. It is cute. Looks like a dragon going out to Halloween as a dragon, but maybe it's a lizard with no wings. Wants to feel like a dragon. When Hatchling Caretaker enters, create a 0/1 green dragon creature token with flying. Whenever one or more dragons you control attack, create a food token. Also pay a green, sacrifice a food. Put a +1/+1 counter on target dragon. So for the dragon decks, this is like a cheap dragon, right? And when it enters you... So hold on, this is the elf employee. This is the dragon token with flying that you get. Is this like some sort of offshoot of How to Train a Dragon or whatever? Definitely fine. Hold on. What's food whenever one more dragons? Okay, so the dragons attack. You get food. You get food. You can feed your dragon. And then your dragon grows up like a Tamagotchi. Like a digital pet. Except it's real. I mean, to be fair, Dodge Wrench would be an interesting sport to watch. Oh, God. That'd be terrible. Okay, Banovsky. What do you got for us? Ruthless Wrath. Okay, this is the last one, Banovsky. We have a red and an XX sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each of X targets. Then you lose 2 life for each non-red mana spent on X. Oh no, this is not the end. Hold on, we're not done yet. Sorry about that. I forgot about the bingo card. We have 1 bingo here. Bingo got to be distributed. Okay, this has too many X's on it, in my opinion. Where's the X thing? Too much X, which means we have yet another bingo. I am chained here for 2 more custom cards. You really had to make that thing with the X's, right? Okay, how does this work? Okay, so I have double X. So if X is 1, I can deal... Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each of up to X targets, which would be 1. Then you lose 2 life for each non-red mana spent on X. Oh, okay, so I have to be heavy in mono-red. So it's basically just play this in a mono-red deck, right? And that works out. Feels like a limited card. And then so what? If I make X2, I can equal to the power to each of up to X targets, so I can choose 2 targets. And I don't lose mana because I'm just going to use red on it. See you later, Trip Fontaine. Okay, so this is definitely going to be a pass. Steve Cooper is going to donate to complete the bingo spot. Oops. Which doesn't get anywhere. We're not any closer, Steve Cooper. Okay, let's get to our first... sorry, the first... Okay, first bingo. Who didn't get a card yet? Sager didn't get a card at all. If you still have a freebie, I'll take one. The Crow Who Stole the Sun. The Crow Who Stole the Sun. That's not an easy thing to do. Okay, we have 0 mana. Oh, is there a diagonal bingo? Hot damn! There was a diagonal bingo! I'm blind. We got 3 freebies coming. Okay, 0 mana. 0 mana for a Saga. 0 mana for a colorless mana? It's already broken. I don't even have to read the rest of this crap. It's basically, it's a Lotus... Well, I mean, I guess it's Lotus Petal. It's extra copies of a crappy Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal with upside. Okay, Chapter 2, exile this Saga unless you discard your hand. Okay, I'll exile it. Oh, I see. If you play it early, then you basically it's basically Lotus Petal. But if you play it later, you get the mana, and then you'll be like, okay, I'll discard my hand of 0 cards. And then, or it would be 1 card, because it triggers right after your draw step. Then we got Chapter 3, draw 2 cards. That's what I'm talking about. And then Chapter 4, gain 5 colorless mana. Use this mana only on spells of mana value 5 or more to get that discount. All right, I want that New Year's discount over here. Dang, I sweat the too many X's wasn't on purpose. Had it since September. Yeah, if there's just random, if there's like 3 or more X's, we put that on the bingo card. Everyone's reminding me of the bingo. It's a bingo! It's a bingo, Nikachu! It's diagonal! You missed the old diagonal over here. Now, is this probably it's probably this card's probably fair. Oh, you know what might? Oh, exile the Saga unless you discard your hand. This could be good in Dredge because Chapter 2 you exile your. Oh no, you exile the Saga. No, you discard your hand, which is fine. So you discard your hand, and then you're gonna draw 2 cards. So you get to Dredge 3 times. It could still be broken. It could still be broken. It's possible. I I'm going to lean on saying this is too strong. I could be wrong, though. This could be something like Urza Saga. Like, if you showed me Urza Saga, I'd be like, that's broken. You can't print that card. Maybe this card is more fair than it looks because it does take several turns before you get to reap the reward of the whole card. So, like, it's not like you get the chapter 3. You still have to wait, like, 3 turns to get chapter 3. Can this card cost X spell? Can this cast X spells with 5 or higher? Use this mana on spells of mana value 5 or higher. I guess I don't know, because the card won't have a mana value 5 or more in your hand before you pay the X, unless before you pay the X, it still is 5 or more. But I don't know, or maybe I'm not sure. If you define X first, then you can pay. Okay. No, X is 0 before casting. I have no idea. I need a judge. Judge! Do we have a judge in the house? We need a judge. I'm not a judge. Not even by a long shot. Okay, we need who wants another freebie? We got 2 more freebies. 1 freebie done. I'll write it down here. If 1 freebie's done, we need to get our 2nd freebie. People love freebies. And if not, I'm gonna dig through the cards. 25 more super chats incoming. You never know. You got a super chat, Pedge man. I might give you another one if no one else wants one. When you think the time will come, you can donate crypto to live. When you think the time will come, you can donate crypto to live streamers. Probably soon. If I were to take a random guess, probably soon. I don't know. I'd say less than 5 years. I don't have a wallet or anything, but if I were to take a guess with the way the world is moving, it's probably less than 5 years. And it will probably happen on what's it called? That platform, that unhinged platform that promotes gambling. Can't remember, the competitor to Twitch. It'll happen there first. Okay, well, no one else wants a dono. Yeah, you could dono the shit coins. Yeah, I would want to dono shit coins to Nikachu. Hey, you never know. Some of those shit coins are worth money sometimes. I just gotta wait. I think Dogecoin went up big time because now that represents the government efficiency, apparently. Okay, Aya, Frontier Explorer. Aya. You have Aya, Frontier Explorer, 4 mana, 3/4, Bird Demon Scout with flying. You may activate an ability of an artifact token, copy that ability, you may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. Whenever you cast a historic or a discovery spell, create your choice of a treasure token, a clue token, or a power cell token. It's an artifact with this artifact enters with 3 charge counters and tap, remove a charge counter from power cell to get an energy. To be honest, I think that's a pretty crappy energy producer because a lot of energy cards, they need a lot of energy like really fast. So this actually might be like probably okay. It's probably on the fine side. Whenever you activate an ability of an artifact token, copy that ability. So this is the real meat and potatoes, right? You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. Activate ability of an artifact token. Oh, but it has to be an artifact. Oh, so you get double the energy off of Aya. I see. Says the blind man to his deaf wife. I would take the freebie, but did not create cards in a minute. We'll create cards 10 years ago. It's fine. Okay, I'll take one from you, Brian. Okay. Well, what do I have to say about this? So you can get, whenever you activate an ability, you get when you activate a clue, you get another clue. So you draw 2 cards. Activate ability of an artifact token, copy that ability. So you draw 2 cards. Otherwise, you get two mana. So you get double the mana from your treasures. Okay, I hope this is fine. It's like a doubling card. As far as I can tell. You double things up. Well, here's the wonderful power cell token. 3 charge counters. Yeah, without doubling this, it's like pretty crappy. But if you get to double the energy output, then it's actually quite reasonable. Brian, Viana, Voice of Hope. Viana, Voice. Ooh. Look very elegant, very wordy, but elegant card. 5 mana for a 2/2 Elf Bard. It's indestructible as long as you control another creature with power greater than it. So a 3/3. Whenever you would draw any number of cards, you may draw that many +1. That's insane! What? When you ever draw any number of cards, you may draw that many. Or do you mean you just draw? Because the way it's worded here, it's like, okay, I draw a card for the turn. Okay, I'm going to draw another card for the turn and +1 of that. So you're drawing 3 cards every single turn. Then for 3 mana, tap detain target creature. Until your next turn, that creature cannot attack or block, and its activated abilities cannot be activated. That's actually a fair card. That's just insane. You cannot have a card that's drawing 3 cards a turn and then makes it worse. On top of that, just drawing, no, it's 2. So what you're trying to say is whenever you would draw a card, you may draw a card. I think that's what you want to say. It doesn't need to be a replacement effect. I think it should just be... Oh, I see. Whenever you would draw any number of cards, you may draw... I think you have to put instead draw that many. You have to word it instead draw that many cards +1. That's how it'd be. That's how it'd be worded. Yeah, the word instead is very important. It should be may instead. Because the way you're wording it, it's like, okay, whenever you draw cards, let's say I draw 3 cards. That means that I could also then draw another 3 cards +1 on top of that for a total of 7 cards. And that is busted. So as worded, this card's super disqualified. Super strong. Just basically, I don't know, play a 0 mana any cantrips possible. Crack all your any artifacts in play. Yeah, anyway, that's crazy. Well, I hope you liked the show today. Everyone enjoy their custom Magic the Gathering cards. You got your fill for the week. And of course, we do these shows 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thanks everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people are part of the show. And of course, thank you for everyone for being part of this community. Being the show itself. Remember, you guys are the show. People like Pedgeman and Brian, and we have Halabpool, Steve Cooper, Little Deadfly, Surefire Selves, Anna. We got the Jaded, Majra, Sage Kerr. Because we have many people who contribute to the show. I mean, without your custom cards, there'd really be nothing. It's not even your ideas. You put the effort to create these cards. And boy, do we appreciate it. We got Andrew, KenCon, and more. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees. And we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you at the next cup.